Hello, I am Bayley. You are listening to Alex Room Service, possibly the best room service in the world.
Välkommen tillbaks till Alex Room Service och ytterligare ett extrainsatt avsnitt den här sommaren. Det har blivit några sådana extrainsatta rackare på grund av anledning och det är ju alltid trevligt. Och just nu var det så att jag fick nys om att Bayley kommer till Jönköping i oktober för att spela hela Iron Maidens X-Factor-skiva rakt av, inklusive de 3 singelspåren. Jag har ju tagit farväl av Maiden i år. Jag såg dem i Köpenhamn i juni och det var sista gången jag såg dem. Det var en jättetrevlig konsert på alla sätt, men jag märkte också att nu är jag helt färdig. Det var den 28:e Maiden-konserten och det blev den sista. Och det var snacka om att sluta på inte en topp, men sluta i trevlighetens skimmer. Men så kommer Blaze och kör hela X-Factor och det var ju en skiva som när den kom, jag var inte helt nöjd med att Bruce hade lämnat. Jag hade ju fan precis fått börja se dem live 92-93. Och så lämnar Bruce Dickinson. Men visst, han släppte Balls to Picasso som är en skitbra platta och jag såg den turnén också. Och så tar Maiden in en sångare som inte kan sjunga Bruce Dickinsons låtar, vilket jag tyckte var synd. Men så där i efterhand nu så skiter jag faktiskt i det, att han inte kunde sjunga Bruce Dickinsons låtar, för det han kunde sjunga, det han hade röst till, det var låtarna på X-Factor, och tiden har visat för mig att X-Factor var den sista Iron Maiden-skivan som jag bryr mig om. Det var den sista Iron Maiden-skivan där inte alla låtar är 20 minuter lång. Det var den sista Iron Maiden-skivan som hade ett mörker i sig, och det är det som Steve Harris har varit bra på, tycker jag. Det är ju en väldigt mörk skiva, ska man ju säga. Det är en naken skiva, det är inte så mycket effekter på den. Den är väldigt underproducerad, men det låg ju i tiden också. 1995 lät ju allting konstigt, oavsett vilket band som släppte någonting. Och låtarna är några av dem är lite för långa, och där är något basintro på Blood on the World's Hands som de kunde skitit i och så vidare. Men på det hela taget så är det är en bättre skiva än Fear of the Dark till exempel, tycker jag. Och det är den sista bra skivan. Sen finns det några enstaka bra låtar på ett par skivor till. Men i övrigt så, för min del, så tog Iron Maiden som ett kreativt band till slut där. Däremot har jag älskat att se dem live när de har kört sina gamla scenshower och gamla setlistor och sånt nu de senaste 20 åren. Det har varit jättetrevligt. Men jag kan ju inte påstå att när de körde hela Matter of Life and Death rakt av 2006, det var ju en lång timme som ett slags förband för mig innan det kom 5 vanliga Iron Maiden-låtar. Så kan vi säga. Men skit i det. Det ska bli jätteroligt. Och plus att vi har ju aldrig fått, förutom att Maiden körde Matter of Life and Death 2006, så har vi aldrig fått Maiden till att köra en skiva rakt av. Någonsin. Första kanske, eftersom de inte hade någonting annat då. Men de har aldrig kört en skiva rakt av, alla låtarna. Så det ska bli jättekul att få höra hela X-Factor, inklusive singel B-sidorna. Och kunna bocka av de låtarna i låtlistan och höra Blaze köra dem en sista gång. Så han kör 10 spelningar, X-Factor, 10 gig, 10 X, ja, det är någon slags matematik. Och bara för jag tyckte det var roligt så skrev jag det till hans manager och sa att om han skulle vilja ta ett par minuter och snacka eller säga någonting, så skulle jag jättegärna ha det i min lilla podcast som heter Alex Room Service och som finns på internet. När Blaze börjar prata så får man inte riktigt stopp på honom. Så kan vi väl säga. Så ja, jag ber att få bjuda på en liten timme helt utan intro, därför att jag hann inte med det. När jag sa att jag hade tryckt på inspelningsknappen så började Blaze prata. Jag lyckas flika in några frågor här och där. Det är en väldigt intensiv människa som ni kommer att höra, men vi hade väldigt, väldigt roligt. Det var väldigt trevligt, väldigt hjärtligt och väldigt kärnfullt, måste jag säga. Det är ju en människa som är som är glad för vad livet har delt honom. Och han är stolt över att ha varit med i Maiden och så vidare. Så att, en mycket trevlig timme tyckte jag, kanske ni tycker också. Så från julaftons julklappshögen här så lämnar jag över från Alex i studion till Alex i studio, samma studio och samma stol och samma bord, men igår, fast nu, det är ju idag och nu, men igår var igår och då pratade jag med Blaze och det ska ni få lyssna på nu, så varsågoda.
Hello Alex, I'm missing Sweden very much.
Yeah, and you're coming back to us in October. It's going to be a treat. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm so excited, man. I can't tell you. I'm so excited for me on the X Factor being new with Iron Maiden and all of the things that were said and things in the press at the time and fans around the world and the kind of feedback. When I went to Sweden, it's one place I really felt that the fans gave me a chance. And people were so open and people had obviously listened to the album. Yeah. And they'd really, they hadn't made a judgment and then go, oh, well, it's new. They'd go, okay, so what's this one sound like? And I think it's a thing I've learned over the years about Swedish fans is they're so into the music and it's much more important, the details, and people will listen before giving judgment. And so my first trip there to Sweden and just feeling that I had a chance that people, not that it was just accepted, but that people were going, okay, let's see, not like, oh, well, it's a new one. And I just felt the songs that we had from the X Factor, all of those new songs really found a place in Sweden. So it's very, very cool. So I'm very excited about coming back.
Well, it's funny you say that because the Gothenburg show was recorded for Swedish radio and Iron Maiden used lots of those songs from that radio broadcast as single B-sides.
Yeah.
For the years coming, so that you probably had a good feeling, had a right feeling about feeling good about it.
That Gothenburg show was one of the smallest on the tour.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the fault of Iron Maiden or the fans or anything. That was the only venue left when it was booked. And man, to be in that band with those huge songs so close, it made me feel that this is what it must have been like in the era when Iron Maiden was starting, after the Judas Priest support, after the Kiss support, when Maiden started coming through Number of the Beast era. This is what those audiences must have been like. And we pulled Yano too. It was just an incredible feeling to be so close and in that venue. And I think Mickey D showed up to that show as well. And he was backstage and all of that. It was such a memorable night for so many reasons.
You seem to, we're jumping way ahead of my preliminary schedule here, but that's the way I like it. So welcome to Alex Room Service. This podcast originally started out as a Kiss podcast 10 years ago, but Kiss is absolutely one of my main bands still, but Iron Maiden is the band I've seen, apart from Marillion, Iron Maiden is the band I've seen the most times live, and I even got to see them with you 30 years ago. So to have you as a guest in my podcast, my humble little corner of the internet, is quite astonishing
to
me. So I'm really happy to have you here. I would like to, since you're coming to Sweden, you're coming to Jönköping. Can you say that in English?
Yes, it's Jönköping. Of course, to us, it's not a silent J, is it? It's not a Y. It's a Jönköping.
Yeah,
so,
it's
Jönköping.
Yeah, you got it. Perfect. So you're coming in October to play the X Factor album, and it's been 30 years. And I would like to talk about it. Talk about the album and the tour. And of course, I would like to talk just a second about Silicon Messiah as well, since that's 25 years ago.
Yeah,
everything is 25 or 30 years ago now.
Yes.
So first question: are you a nostalgic man?
No, no, not normally. I'm not nostalgic at all. I'm looking forward. I'm trying to look forward and not have the past as a chain or too much of an influence on me. I'm trying not to dwell in the past, in my own life. Musically, of course, I'm the same as anybody else. I go back to those albums that first started the love affair and the romance of heavy music for me. I go back to those and I relive them. I go back to Holy Diver every so often. And I go back to Raining Blood. And I go back to Master of Puppets. And these albums, and I go back to Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath and Black Sabbath and all of that. These albums that were such an influence on me as I was coming into music. But of course, what happens to me now is I know those albums so well. And I think this is probably the same for a lot of fans of our kind of music. You go, I'm not going to listen to it until I need it. And so Master of Puppets won't come on. Raining Blood won't come on. Holy Diver won't come on. Heaven and Hell, Black Sabbath, won't come on until the dark day appears. And I have to get through. And then I cannot start fixing the kitchen ceiling without some kind of hardcore. Raining Blood is on. Bang, bang, fuck this kitchen. I'm going to get this kitchen sorted. Yeah. Oh, I can't talk. Master of Puppets, Master, bang, bang, all of that. Right, in the gym, first day up, back in the gym, first time for a year. Oh, man, okay. Holy Diver, treadmill to fuck, man. Burning it up in the gym. What's that guy listening to? The treadmill's on fire. Holy Diver. So that's it now. So as much as I still love those, what's been tragic, but also another side of Ozzy passing and Sabbath coming into the mainstream for what feels like a few seconds compared to what we've had over the last years is, wow, there's that real, genuine, passionate, innovative music, and it's on mainstream TV. It's on the 6 o'clock news. And there is this flawed warrior poet that was Ozzy, and he's on mainstream news. And he's got, well, yeah, Ozzy had problems. Ozzy had mental problems. He had drink problems. He had all of this. He suffered in many ways, but it didn't stop him. He continued. He made music. He made music that was worthwhile. And for me, that's another part of being in love with that music. And then you go back and go, actually, no, I will go back. I'm going to listen to one of my ultimate favourites, Diary of a Madman. Put that away for a certain day. Maybe this is the rainy day, and it has to come out. So I'm nostalgic the way that we all are in that way. But in my own life, I don't go, oh, I wish it was 30 years ago and we were still on the X Factor tour, or 25 years ago starting out with Silicon Messiah, or 10 years ago starting out with something else. I don't think of it that way. I think of what's the next song. I'm looking, what's the next thing I can write to? I've written about quantum physics. I've written about Stephen Hawking and scientists. I've invented a story and made it into a concept album about a man who finds a way to travel in time and through multi-dimensions and all of the. I found all of these things. So I'm looking forward and I'm thinking, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Or the things will come up, scrolling through. I just, you leave YouTube on sometimes. You go, oh, what's that? What did Jung say about that? The dream world connected to, and suddenly there's a song idea and so I'm always looking forward from that point of view. But here we go then, you go back and you go, okay, I'm going back 30 years and you're singing some songs you haven't sung for a long time. Oh man, it's just like you haven't seen one of your best friends for 20 years, but nothing has changed. You speak the same way as you did. So you go back and sing Sign of the Cross, and it's like seeing your best friend from 20 years or 30 years ago with a new suit. Going, wow, man, you got new clothes. Yeah, my old ones wore out. And with the voice I have now, it's so different in a good way, where 30 years ago I was learning to sing in a new way because Steve Harris, as a producer and as a writer, would go, oh, try it like this. And I go, what, Steve? I've never used that part of my voice. He goes, I think it's there. And it was. But of course, then over the years, I find these other parts, I build on them, I get stronger. Then I'm able to go, as an artist, I have more colours in my vocal palette now. I have more textures to use. So when I'm thinking of you, and I'm thinking of you with your headphones on, I can think on this lyric, using this texture and using this power, I can get right to your heart. I can get so that you forget. My goal is to make you forget where you are and to become involved in my song, and for my song to encompass you completely. Go, fucking hell, this is great. That's what my goal is every time, whether it's hugely sad or powerful, whether it's tragic or passionate, whatever it is, I want to take you away from your reality and put you in this reality I've created in my album with my music. And now with my voice being different, having all these different things, I could do that. And so in another completely selfish way, then singing those old songs and having the control that I have now, which I didn't have back then it feels good, man, because those lyrics, some of those lyrics feel like they were written for today and they're 30 years old. And you think, to be able to put that over and be more expressive without being cheesy, then it's such a gift. And it's one of the things, as I've gone back through the songs and I'm double checking my lyrics and getting things back in my head, I think, oh yeah, this bit will really come to life. This bit will be that much darker, when we do it live. So it's exciting. I'm nostalgic, but even though, looking back, I'm not nostalgic about, I don't want to live in the past. I don't want to live the X Factor again, but I do want to be with the X Factor again today. Just like seeing that old friend, maybe bumping into them in a bar that you haven't been to, or on holiday. I go, wow, I haven't seen you for years. That's the feeling. It's an excitement of not reliving the past, but going, wow, this is exciting. It's from the past. It is of me. It's in me. It's part of me. There's no taking the X Factor away or being separate from it. It's always with me. I live with that because that small time, those 5 years, are such an important, a pivotal part of my life. There's, in one way, you can look at it as there is Blaze before Maiden, there's Blaze after Maiden. You can't go, oh, there's Blaze with it's tiny. It's 5 years and 2 albums. And I've made 14 albums, since then, since the X Factor. So you can't go, oh, it's everything. But when you put it in perspective and you go, you know what? It's exciting to feel, because music is so much the feeling. It's exciting to feel these old friends again, So that's why it's so exciting. And when we had the idea at first, I was thinking, I'm not sure if this is a good thing because of the nostalgia, whether I want to go back there. And then as I did a couple of other things, I thought, you know what? Actually, it's not that I want to go back there. It's I want there to come to me. I want that thing. I want to be in that place, but here. And of course, it's as crazy as it sounds, it's completely possible to do it. And the Silica Messiah tour has gone incredible, that 25th anniversary. So I'm very excited. I'm nervous as hell, but I'm very excited.
Having been in a band like Iron Maiden, you will never get out of that, of course.
Well, that's the same with Kiss. I was going to say, you're exactly. A Kiss fan. So what I knew before Iron Maiden, because of that, was every Kiss fan knows every member of Kiss that has ever been in Kiss. That's just a fact. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. Okay? So it's the same with Iron Maiden. So I was very, very lucky in one way compared to Bruce and compared to Paul, because I knew that no matter what happened, you would always be known as a former member of Iron Maiden. For me as a fan, I was like, well, you know what? I'll be okay with that because I know that's what's going to happen. So I'm walking through this door, and walking through this door means that. But they didn't know it.
No.
Paul and Bruce didn't know that. And I think that's my advantage. I would have loved to stay in Iron Maiden and be there and all of that. I thought we were going to do a great third album together. A lot of my Silica Messiah album, a lot of the songs are things I plan to work on with Steve and Dave and Yannick. And it wasn't to be, but I got a great first album out of it with Silica Messiah. But I was ready for that to be. And you know what? You're so privileged if you manage to get the top job in the world at what you do. So with being a heavy metal singer, what could possibly be the number one job? The singer of Iron Maiden. I had that job. So, you know, it's pointless to go. There's nowhere to go from here. You're at the top. You better do it and enjoy it and do the best you can while you're here. And I was hoping it would be a lot longer. But I enjoyed it. You know, it's as tough as any band. And the bigger you are, the more pressure you've got, because there's a whole lot of promotion and a lot of money pressure from the record company. They need to get that money. They know how much money they can make, and they want to make sure they get it. And they want to squeeze the artist as much as they can. That's the old slave system of the record company. That's what they did. But so there's all those extra pressures that you don't have in a smaller band. But you are in the biggest, or what I consider to be, for me, it's only my opinion, is the most important heavy metal band in the world. Culturally significant, as important, and I think you'll understand this, as Star Wars in pop culture. Yeah. There's before Star Wars and after Star Wars in pop culture. Okay, so for us in our world, there is before Kiss and Maiden and Priest, and then there is after. And the world after cannot be changed. We live in the world post Kiss, Priest, Maiden. That's our world that we exist in, and I'm happy about that, as you probably are as well. So I think to be part, and for me to understand that, like you understand the significance of Kiss and what everything they did, for me, going in to understand the cultural importance of Iron Maiden, I always had a certain thing, this is important, and everything you do is going to be important and judged and looked at. You better be on your top and do your absolute best as much as you can, Don't leave anything. Never say it's good enough. That was my thing when I was there for X Factor and Virtual 11. Never leave it going, that's good enough. Have it, does this make sense? Does it answer the question, why am I listening to this album? And the answer should be, because it's passionate and it moves me, and in some, and with the X Factor, in some very dark way, it speaks to my heart.
When you entered the door to the Barnyard Studios, you got the job by Christmas '93, and then you started writing and rehearsing a new album with Iron Maiden. Wasn't that quite a horrifying experience, taking on all of that responsibility and history and emotions from fans all over the world on your shoulders, the new kid in town, the new guy in the band?
I think it was before that, when on those few moments when I thought about the writing. But here's the important, I didn't think about the big thing of all fans, because I'd seen Maiden 3 times, you know, at my local venue, and I'd supported Maiden. So I didn't think about that as much as I thought about the writing. And Steve Harris said, there is nothing written. Everything is going to be what we do together. It's nothing is written. And I don't care who writes the songs. They just have to be fucking great songs. Mm. So that really opened the door. It's like, okay, well, you know what? I've made albums, I've written songs and lyrics that I'm incredibly proud of. With Wolfsbane, we did some wonderful, wonderful work. Some of it passionate and dark and brooding, and some of it just, hey, let's dance. Let's fucking forget life. You know, let's forget the crap that we're living. And others, this is the crap I'm living in. Let me tell you about it. This is my fucking life that I'm telling you about, and screaming into the mic. So I thought, okay, well, hang on, this is just being in a band. It's a different band. And what's exciting is the energy of working with new people and the opportunity to work with Steve Harris and Yannick and Dave. It was incredible to learn from people with such confidence, and to learn from Steve Harris, where he goes, here's a man with platinum and gold albums everywhere, and he's saying, no, it's good, but do it like this. Then it makes a bit more sense. You go, okay. Oh, try it here. Try that bit, that word. You don't need that. Take that out. Put it here. Like, okay. But that word, I'm going, no, but Steve, please, that's my favourite part of the song. You can't have it. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't flow. You've got to put the song over everything. It's the identity of the song. Now it's there. You have to be true to the song. Oh, no. But of course he was right. You know, and then we have that's Como Estas Amigos. You know, one of perhaps possibly my favourite songs that I've ever written with Iron Maiden. You know, so that's a hard lesson to learn, but a song that just stands and stands. And we do an acoustic version of it, and just people love it. They love it. And we do an acoustic version of 2 a.m. and people love it. And it's a true story about a dark place where you are. You don't want to be where you are. You have no choice. You are stuck. You are staying there. That's it. Your dream is dead. You're there. It's 2 a.m. You are alone. That's it. So to be able to explore that in this thing with a band that's so huge, have so much conviction. And you know what? No one has anything to say about the creative process or songwriting or anything outside of the men in the band, the people in the band. So early on, I said, aren't the record company going to come? The record company are banned from the studio, says Steve. Banned. So, oh, that's good. You know, he said, the music is just in the band. He said, the record company will hear this album when it's mixed, mastered with artwork, and they can put it out. And if they don't like it, fuck them. That's it. Their job is to put the album out. Our job is to make the album. That's it. And they fought for that. I mean, tooth and nail. They were up against the label and everything, all of this. They fought for that. And to be in a situation as an artist where there is no commercial or outside compromise, for want of a, where you're just with the guys in a band, where you're eye to eye, with guitars in hand, just acoustic, going, what about this lyric, this, oh no, harder there, softer there, bang there, try this, that, where you're just eye to eye. And that's going to be the song. And then that's going to be the recording. To come from that, so no one can touch it. It's literally the chemistry of those five people in the band. That's incredible. And to get there, and it's just that. In Wolfsbane, we had so many ugly compromises along the way. We don't have that now. But along the way with record companies, oh, you can't have that artwork. You can't have this. Oh, that doesn't sound... Oh, for fuck's sake, man. I'm writing about what I feel. I'm writing about the end of the world through television. Is that too much for you to understand? I'm writing about suicide and escaping suicide from making a decision that you will not allow circumstances to overwhelm you, no matter what happens. You make a decision for that. That's what I'm writing about. And you're telling me that it doesn't sound... You know, and one producer said, do you have to use apparition? Isn't there a simpler word? I'm going, it's fucking Shakespeare. It's Shakespeare. It's from fucking Hamlet. It's a reference to one of the greatest plays ever written by the greatest playwright in the world. And you say, don't use that word. For fuck's sake. There was nothing like that in Maiden because they fought those battles. I could use, if I wanted to use the word apparition, yeah, okay, what's it? That's it. That was it. So as an artist, in one way, it was quite liberating. I mean, in Wolfsbane now, we produce ourselves with our own record company. We have nothing like that at all. But that was where I came from. Those artistically tough situations where I've got no hair, so you can see I fucking pulled it out. It's horrible. And then you go and you're in Maiden and you're like in a bunker of heavy metal. You're in a bunker, man, an artistic bunker where, you know what? Drop your fucking bombs and tell us what to do. You're never going to get through to us. It's fucking Iron Maiden, you prick. So that was great. And to go back now and sing these songs that had that fucking, come on then. You want to have a go? You fucking nothing to do with the songwriting. So to have that and sing those songs and with that liberation, that conviction, it's incredible. So I'm very, very excited to be able to do that. But to answer your question, I just didn't open myself to all the fans and the expectation. What I did was, what about the songs? That's what I can do. I can do my best on these songs, and I'm allowed to do my best, and I'm allowed to express myself as an artist.
Do you remember which song was the first one where you felt, yeah, we got it. We really got this one?
Yeah, I think very early on in the process, we did Man on the Edge.
Mm.
And Yannick and I had worked on it, and then we went along and to a session with Steve Harris, and he said, "That's good." And he said, "I'll try this with it, try that with it." And you know what? In half an hour, it was almost all done. And that was it. And it felt like we had this really great positive start and something was happening. And yeah, and I also, we had about 4 songs we felt very confident in. And this was just early on in the process. And then we felt, well, that's just not enough. We've got to get more than this. And, a couple of days later, Steve turned up with Sign of the Cross.
Mm.
And you could feel, I think Steve had been feeling it too, that we haven't got enough. We want this to be special, the X Factor. We want this album, this new album with the new singer and so many new things. We want this to be special. But at the moment, we're a long way from a special album, even though we got 4 really good songs. And then he came in with the X Factor, and you could just feel a bit of relief, decompression, and then you start trying to learn the bastard, and it's like, what the fuck? So we had to record it in 3 parts. He played the whole thing through, and then it goes here, and then it goes there, and we do this, okay, and just like, it's so much. Okay, it's 3 songs. Let's learn it like that. We know what comes, and we'll just do a very simple edit where it changes. And we did, and of course, it's incredible. It's so powerful, and live, it's just huge to sing that song in front of a room full of people, which could have been from 2,000 to 70,000, to sing that song and have this overwhelming reaction to it. It was just an incredible experience. So, but that was it. It started Man on the Edge, and then Sign of the Cross. Then it started to fall into place, and we're pretty sure. So on my X Factor tour, I'm doing the 3 B-sides as well. And one, obviously, is because Maiden will never do those B-sides. Oh. We did never do them when I was in the band. But I think what people won't realise is they were never B-sides. They were never meant to be that, because early on in the process, I remember, as Steve and I were getting to know each other, Steve says, "I don't believe in B-sides. I'm not going to write a song thinking, it's only a B-side. Every song I write, I think, has to be good enough for the album and must be." So we actually had these 3 songs, which we felt were good enough, but there was a time pressure, and we just ran out of time. It's like, hang on, we've already been away a long time now. And if we take time for this, and then what's next? There were loads of technical problems where the recording machines broke down, all sorts of things. So that was what cost us the time, because those songs would have been finished without those technical problems and a couple of other things, and perhaps without my motorcycle accident. Those 3 songs would have made the album, and the X Factor would have been a slightly different shape. So what I'm doing is I'm getting those 3 songs together with my own little differences in arrangement that I always do. And I'm hoping that fans are going to enjoy that, because it's nice when I can do things that people have never had the chance to hear. But it's also really cool to do things that people are never going to hear from Maiden, and it's the original voice. Yeah. So we're very nervous about it, but we are excited about it. So, and I think I hope people enjoy it, but not everybody can get those. So maybe they're going to go whoop on the on the streaming services and on YouTube with people trying to find those.
To anybody listening, if you want to hear those 3 songs and not pay a lot of money for the singles for Man on the Edge and Lord of the Flies, you can find the Japanese CD on Discogs quite cheaply. It's a double CD where the first disc is the album and the second disc are the 3 songs. So it's like a double Iron Maiden album if you get the Japanese version. Just a tip for anybody listening into this and you want to hear those.
That's a great tip.
It's almost like a double X Factor album. It's fantastic in my opinion.
I think it's what it should have been, mate. But the way it worked out, it was just that's just the record. That's the music business.
One thing that struck me, I saw you in Copenhagen on the X Factor tour, or the X Factor tour, as it was so amusingly called. One thing, I don't know if you know this, but Iron Maiden have only played 7 or more songs from a new album on 3 tours.
Yeah.
Those tours are Peace of Mind, not counting the first 2 tours, of course, because they only had 2 albums worth of songs. Peace of Mind, they played 7 songs of Peace of Mind. No Prayer for the Dying, they played 7 songs of No Prayer for the Dying. And the X Factor, you played 7 songs of the X Factor. Okay, so then they did in 2006. They played the whole new album, but that's another story. So, to me, it was obvious that everybody in the band believed in the album. You opened with "Man on the Edge," written by the new kid in the band.
Yeah,
you opened with that song on the whole tour, and you played 7 songs from the new album. When you have a vast history of hit songs and whatnot with from the previous albums, that to me showed that you believed in the album. You wanted to show it to people that this is Iron Maiden today. We do the old songs, absolutely. Sing along as much as you want, but you got the aftermath. You got the Edge of Darkness. You got Fortunes of War, not just the hit Man on the Edge and Sign of the Cross, which would have been the easy way to go. No, here is the new music. That is what stands out to me, because I heard you had problems with The Trooper, Hallowed Be Thy Name. I heard you had problems with that. I heard that you were much more confident, and the hair is rising on my arms as I say this. I heard you were much more confident when you sang the words you wrote yourselves and the songs that suited your way of singing. And I am so happy today. I was a snotty brat in 1995. I want to say that. I did not think that The Evil That Men Do was your best day at work, if you know what I mean. But 30 years later, I'm so happy to have been there, so happy to have seen you with Blaze a lot of times after that, so happy to have gotten to know you and your voice, and to have seen those songs on the actual tour is, to me, I'm really happy to have been there. I'm happy that I left the snottiness partially at home and I went to Iron Maiden, even though Bruce had left, which was a problem for me. I'll admit to that, but that was 30 years ago. So I hope that you told me in the beginning of the interview that you felt that the Swedish fans actually gave you a chance and so on. I hope you felt that during your tenure with Iron Maiden, that there was something there. We listened to you. We heard what you were saying. We heard what you were singing. We listened to the songs. We came to the shows. And we had a blasting good time, if I may say so myself.
Yeah.
But one thing I wonder, 30 years ago, 1995, and today you must have fans coming up that weren't even born in 1995. Yeah. And they were, oh, you sang on the X Factor. Oh, you sang on Virtual 11. Will you play those songs tonight, please?
Yes.
How do you cope with that? Being an active artist, I don't know how many solo albums or how many Blaze albums. Is it
about
13?
14?
Yeah, 13 or 14. I mean, you have to cope with that. You have to. Do you find it a privilege?
I'll tell you, Alex, that one of the things that's very frustrating is that I get new fans from that era. And I get some of them. I call them the 95ers. or the last time I saw you was 1998. I'm like, I've made 12 studio albums. I've done a tour with almost everyone in your country, and that was the last time you saw me. So to those people, I've been dead or whatever. My albums all failed. You know, I sold hundreds, not thousands of copies, not tens of thousands, a couple of thousand. My albums are absolutely, I was dropped by the record company and everything. And it's very frustrating when people say, oh, would you play the Klansman? And I'm going, I have played the Klansman on the last tour. Where were you? Or will you play Sign of the Cross? Well, I played Sign of the Cross 3 years in a row, 3 tours in a row. Where were you? That's very frustrating, I'll admit that. Okay, they haven't followed me, but it's very, very frustrating when people say that. And to be where I am now, I think, you know what? Here's the thing. It's not that I don't like those songs, but I have all these songs, just as you said there. Well, we played 7 songs from the X Factor. Well, Circle of Stone, the new Blaze album, it's every single song on the album. We were thinking live for every one of them. How would we do this live? And, oh, we can't do that because we wouldn't do that live. So there, every song on Circle of Stone album, and most of the albums before most of the songs, you go, they're all written to play live, so of course I want to play them live. And the difference between live and recording is the same as the movie and the book. You've got your album at home, your vinyl, your CD. That's the book. That's got every little detail, every little nuance. Come and see me live. That's not the album. What this is now is me as a songwriter and a performer going, here you are. Now, here is the passion and the force. Here's a fist. That's the song now. That's what you come to get. I'm going and I'm getting to your heart. However dark it is, I'm going in through the ears. And that's it. That's live. Whereas I'm already in on the album. So while I'm in there, I've got to do something. But I'm live, I'm going to get you. That's I demand that you forget who you are, your problems, and why you're there, and just become that song with me. That's important. And I think that's the only frustration for me is when people, if they come and see me and they don't look at what I've done, they don't go like on Spotify, which is one of my favorites. I have to admit, I think Spotify, for me as an artist, I'm not talking about royalties or anything like that, but for me as an artist, to get to a new audience and for people to go, who's that? Type Blaze Bayley into Spotify, you can find loads of things. Oh, bang, bang, bang. So for people not to go, oh, who is he? Blah, blah, blah. That's it. But apart from that, then it's great to have the fact that I was in what I consider to be the most important heavy metal band in the world. I was a part of that. I've got 2 albums with some great music as well. It signifies my period is going to the progressive era. Now we're off in another direction. It's still Iron Maiden. It still has the values of Iron Maiden, but now it's going somewhere else. It's headed out of the solar system, for want of a better word, to the nearest galaxy. That's Iron Maiden now. And I was a part of that change of course. And I'm very proud of that. And for some reason, and I don't want to analyse it too much, but it's a source of immense pride to me that X Factor meant so much in Sweden, that we were booking the second tour and the tour manager came to me and said, "We've had a request from the Swedish promoter. Would you be able to get rid of the side fills on the side of the stage because it's restrictive view? They want to sell more tickets. It's the biggest Iron Maiden gig ever in Sweden." And I'm like, yeah, of course, that's it. It was, for me, I'm in the band. It's the biggest one. They've never played that venue for so fucking yes. Oh, man, it's great. So I suppose that's why I have this deep fondness for that little connection with X Factor and Sweden. There's just that little thing there that makes it extra special.
Is that why you're coming to Sweden to do I know you're on doing 10 shows or something like that.
Well, we were only going to do one show. And let's do one. And then we thought, well, you know what? We should do one because it's the 10th Iron Maiden album. They've just done the first 9 and it's the 10th. So actually, why we could do 10 shows in 10 countries. And since I've got such a history with Sweden and the amazing support that I've had from fans and promoters there that have believed in me when nothing was happening for Blaze Bayley, when I was out, I was down, out, counted out, nothing. And there were fans that still believed in me and managed to get me to Sweden. That's it. Just, you think, no, yeah, well, why don't we then? And Sweden has to be one of them.
Thank you. It's going to be awesome. I hope to meet some of my listeners there as well. I know at least one guy called Stefan. He's a big fan of this era as well. So we rarely see each other. We live on different sides of the country, but we get together for about once a year. Yeah. And this will be the annual meetup at the X Factor 30 years later.
There's a couple of festivals that's the same for me. Where we'll see you here next year? Probably, yeah. I'll never get booked. So.
But what does your band think of revisiting? They, of course, don't have the same feelings for the songs as you do. Do they think it's fun to rehearse and listen in on what Dave and Nico and Yannick and Steve were playing?
Well, we're always learning. We're very positive, and they're a band in their own right. And then we work together a lot. They're Absolver. And that incredible live band, and they've got some great songs. And when we work together, it's always learning, and it's never closed because we're not doing the album version. We're not going, this is the record produced live. We're going, right then, in my style and the way that we work together, what's the best representation of this song live? And bearing in mind, you're not just through the looking glass, or you're going under the microscope and you're getting your arrangements together and you go, in this bit, this should be a harmony guitar because it feels like it should be. So in the Blaze Bayley version, the harmony guitar appears. And this bit, that feels like it should be softer. It should be more dramatic. It should be nothing. That quiet bit feels like it should be even less than what it is. That's the Blaze Bayley version. So what you're getting when you come and see us is a dynamic that isn't there on the record. And that's the way I like to do things. I like things to be dynamic. I like to whisper before I shout at you. That's just the way we do it. So for everybody, and obviously it would be difficult to be in a band with people that hated Iron Maiden because it's a part of me, and I will never deny it. I will never leave it. It's a part of me. It's, as much as Wolfsbane is my heart, that's where I come from. That's where I begin. That's where my dear friends are. as much as that, and my solo career is so focused with everything I've done and the way that I write and an anti-suicide message and try to be positive and try and pick yourself up when you can. All of that, as much as that is a part of me, then I am a part of Iron Maiden that can never be erased. That's it. That's a part of me that can never be erased. However small it is, it's there. So I'm lucky in that way that everybody in the band, to various levels, are Maiden fans. And particularly Luke is an X Factor fan. And he's learning things meticulously. He's one of the most wonderful bass players in the world today in our kind of music, possibly in all music, but definitely in rock and metal. And he's in awe of Steve Harris, and it's an incredible thing for him to be in that situation where he's going, okay, here's one of my idols as a musician, and now I'm having to, note for note, work out how they did it. And, actually, it's impossible. So it's going to take a bit longer than normal to do it. But that's it, yeah. And it's nice, man. Those songs come from a different place that mainstream music comes from, because the constraints of mainstream music are not on Black Sabbath when they started. They made music. They invented the whole thing. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. And that's the same with Iron Maiden. You don't even have to have a chorus in the song. It doesn't have to rhyme. You don't have to do this. But there are certain things that you do have to do, you must do, to make this worthy of being in an Iron Maiden song. And it's incredible, really, for us to get in a room and go, okay, what we're going to do? Well, if we were doing this now, we wouldn't have that, would we? So can we get away without that? Well, we can if we're doing this, because that's where we would go, and we know that works. And so that's how we do it. And it's nervous, like, oh shit, man, is anybody going to be pissed off with this? And it's also liberating, because you're going, yeah, man, we're doing this really great piece of music in our style, and nobody look at the meet and greet and everything. Nobody's going, I was so pissed off that you missed out 4 bars there. So fucked off. I'll never get those 4 bars back. And I'm like, but that never happens, thankfully. People do that. And nobody's ever gone, I am so fucked off that there were harmony guitars in Man on the Edge. Nobody's ever gotten that. If people, it's just like, oh yeah, this is how it sounds. That's it. That's my version. And so I'm very, very lucky to do that. So yeah, when we all get together, it's challenging, but in a good head-scratching challenging, in a way that, fucking hell, how does this go? What did they do it? I just thought that's a good, rather than the, oh shit, I'm never going to be able to do it. That kind of challenging. So yeah, it's good. And you always learn something, and that's the important thing for me. If you're doing something, are you learning something? And what are the lessons that you can take from it? And the lessons you can take from having to listen to a song in detail and the changes, then further down the line, maybe the next year, maybe the year after, you'll go, oh, we can do this because that's what we did on Sign of the Cross, or that's what we did in Man on the Edge. And it'll be later, you go, oh no, it will work. No, it won't. Yes, it will, because it works there. And the mad genius that is Steve Harris, who does these things where you go, that's never going to work. Oh, but it does work.
Oh, you're going to invite Steve to any of the shows?
Yeah, of course, yeah. And it depends what he's doing. He's so busy, but if he's around anywhere with British Lion, then of course I'll invite him. And I always go and see him when he's doing his British Lion and sometimes with Maiden and that. So, yeah.
I know that Steve still counts the X Factor as one of his favorite albums with Iron Maiden.
So much great music on there.
And I think the lyrics kind of reflect quite a lot of what he was going through with his divorce and everything.
And
of course, not knowing where Iron Maiden would go after Bruce leaving and so on. I had one more question. I've been keeping you for an hour. I'm sorry.
I think my next one is much later, so we don't have to worry.
All right. Well, do you have a favorite song that you're looking forward to playing? Because I look forward to hearing The Aftermath and Edge of Darkness again. But Look for the Truth is the one I've never heard live.
I had Look for the Truth in the set list for a little while, and what happens with that song, that's really dynamic. That's so expressive compared to the album. So I am looking forward to that. But I think Edge of Darkness, I've had that in the set a couple of times over the years, and I am looking forward to seeing that, and The Aftermath as well. So I'm particularly proud of the lyric on The Aftermath.
It's pretty cool.
All of them, they all present different challenges, and you can't believe, you go, oh yeah, I've got that, and then you go, oh, I haven't got it. And then other ones you go, oh, where does this one go? Bang, it's there. You think, oh, I do know it.
Well, the thing is, I really like that Iron Maiden never closed the door on your era. They played a lot of Blaze songs with Bruce as well. Many bands like Deep Purple, Ian Gill and Deep Purple would never sing anything that David Coverdale sung, and Judas Priest never played any of the Ripper songs after Ripper left. I think it's a bit sad actually, because it's a band. So I really like that Iron Maiden kept Sign of the Cross and Klansman, and they even did Man on the Edge and Future Real with Bruce, and Lord of the Flies in 2003, which was nice. So it kept your era alive in the current version of the band too. I like that. I enjoy that. What do you think of Bruce singing your songs?
I love it. I absolutely love it. He's a great singer. He's one of the most important singers in modern musical history since Ian Gillan, really, as an innovator. Then Bruce is one of the most important. His influence and sound cannot be overestimated of what he's done. As important as Paul Stanley as a vocalist, Paul Stanley's sound is almost the personification of what dirty, heavy rock is, and that kind of metal. When you think of Lick It Up and songs like that, and Love Gun, and what Paul Stanley does, can there be a world without that? What would they say? It's almost like certain colours would be missing from reality. And it's the same for Bruce Dickinson. It's almost like, without Bruce Dickinson, it's almost like saying there would be no Darth Vader in Star Wars. That's how important he is. People don't know that because it's like wallpaper. Oh, it's always there. No, it's very, very important musically. It's as much as what he's influenced to the reaction against him and what people have gone, oh, I don't want to sound like that. And the misunderstanding that heavy metal is just, so we've had that for years. No, you fool. That's not heavy metal. And Bruce is just incredible. So for Bruce doing anything from X Factor and Virtual 11, I've always loved it. And he does it in a different way, a way that I would never approach it from. So it's always been very, very cool to hear that. So I've enjoyed it, really. And I suppose that the X Factor, in many ways, as well as it going to the progressive era, it's also an emotional experience. That darkness, is this really worth it? are the things that I believe important at all, because I've lived my life by values that don't seem to have worked. Those are the big questions on there. Why am I not telling the truth? That's what look for the truth is. I'm looking, why don't I tell the truth? Why am I not facing up to this is it? Face the truth. Because there's only one way around it, and that is go right through it. Face it. Face it. However hard or impossible it seems, face the truth, because that is you. Your truth, who you are. That's what you must face to be able to move on, to grow. And there's no growth without pain. Then you have to be able to do that. And I think it's a story, really, a small episode in the wonderful history of Iron Maiden. This brief episode where everything went wrong. The world, it appears, and certainly the British press appear to be against Iron Maiden and say Iron Maiden should just give up now and retire. That's it, it's over. And we were playing to 10,000 people a night. And so you're going, hang on, you're saying Iron Maiden should retire and give up. And there were 10,000 fans here chanting Maiden, and I'm singing those classic songs. I'm singing The Trooper and Hallowed Be Thy Name and loving it. And who the fuck are they? They know nothing. But that's what everybody sees. Oh, this, that. And then eventually those same cunts, right, after Iron Maiden don't die, they're there going, oh, I always said Iron Maiden will be going forever. Those same cunts. And when you say, yeah, I think it's absolutely disgusting that people don't do what Sabbath did. When Ronnie James Dio came after Ozzy, he sang Ozzy songs. And Ozzy, obviously, he's not going to sing Dio songs. It's a different kind of thing. But they're not ignoring that era at all. It's not like they went back to Ronnie and they did, Bible Black and some wonderful songs and different things. That's what it really is. It is musical. It should be art that's celebrated. So I think it's unfortunate and horrible when, as a fan, people have made an album and you've got, okay, all right, it's different. Let's see, right, we'll try and get on board. We'll try and understand it. And then they've gone, oh, it's like, that wasn't important. Well, hang on. You asked me to pay the fucking 15 euros for it. That's how important it was back then. But now it's worthless and it doesn't even count. What? So I don't agree with that kind of thing. And I think for Maiden and for Steve Harris, it's like, you know what? I've put my fucking life into this. I'm not just going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go. So, and that's it. So I think that's the artistic attitude. That's putting yourself, your integrity before money, before the business, before any pressures. It's like, no, this is our life. This is our band. This is what we really did. And we put we fucking put everything into every night, man. When we were on the X Factor, we were literally fighting for the life of the band to go, we mean something. Look, this is everything we've got. Bang, this is it. Come on. And if that didn't mean anything and suddenly you couldn't get those albums, and it would just be horrible. And I spoke to Tim Ripper Owens, and it is a horrible feeling that the way that he was treated afterwards. It was all nice at the time. Got a good send off and everything, but then afterwards, for those albums not to be part of it feels very odd. And there's some great music on there as well.
Oh yeah, Jugulator is a great album in my opinion. So it's essentially the same thing that you are doing. I mean, you're doing your solo albums, you're doing your Blaze albums, you're doing your tours, but you're not closing the door on your past. You're doing a couple of Iron Maiden tracks for us as well. I saw you on the Silicon Messiah tour, saw you on the 10th Dimension tour. Last time I saw you was at the Sweden Rock Festival in 2019.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
It was cool to see you because you did your own set, which was an Iron Maiden set. That was pretty nice. And then you did the guest appearance in one tent with one classic band playing some old stuff.
Yeah.
Then you did another appearance. You were everywhere at that festival.
It's fun. That was a lot of fun.
That was a great day. 2 great days, actually. Now, on behalf of the Swedish Iron Maiden fan base and the Swedish Blaze fan base, thank you so much for talking to me today. Wow, I'm still a bit in shock here. You've been a part of my life for 30 years, so thank you for that. Thank you for great albums, great tours, and I really do look forward to seeing you in Jönköping in just 2 months and 7 days. We're going to be there. We're going to listen to the obscure single B-sides from the X Factor as well as the whole album.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Good luck with your show. Thanks for having me on, mate.
Thank you, and see you in Jönköping.
Okay, cheers mate. Bye.
Bye now.
Det var det. Tack så mycket för att ni har lyssnat. Var snälla mot varandra på internet och ta hand om varandra. Och om bara några dagar så firar vi att det är 30 år sedan Kiss spelade in MTV Unplugged. 30 år sedan. Tänk på det. Nästa gång så ses vi i havet. God afton.